Welcome, Mr. Faisal Fayad. How are you?
I'm good, mate.
Thank you for very good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to meet you finally as well.
Likewise. Yeah.
All right, let's start with your upbringing. So, how about you take me through just sort of where you grew up and
So I grew up in Brunswick.
Yep.
We moved there from the age of about 6.
Fantastic.
Pretty much a bit rougher days back then in Brunswick.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Brunswick?
Just central.
Central. Okay.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
sort of,
Fantastic.
Yeah, just off sort of Sydney Road there.
Lovely.
Started primary school there. Got into my first taekwondo school that I enrolled to.
Yep.
About the age, I want to say about 8, I think.
8 years old. Very young.
Yeah.
Wow.
So about 8. Yeah, 8 or 9, but yeah, definitely started at that point with Jamal Hassan, actually.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you started in the martial arts world quite young, or you dipped your toe in at least?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Did you have any family that were fighters? Or?
Yeah, my uncles were really into martial arts. They introduced me as a 5-year-old kid.
Wow.
Showed me how to punch and kick and...
At home?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
lovely.
So that was the first taste I got at a club.
Yes.
My next door neighbour at the time, his son was going and was my best mate, and he said, I'd like to, take him as well. So I said to my parents, and they said, yeah, go along. Did about 3 or 4 months until I got into a fight at school, and then my mum was like, you're not doing it anymore.
Oh, really? Yeah. What was the fight about? Do you remember?
But it was I never started fights when I was younger.
Okay.
Like always sort of.
Some kid bullying.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Always sort of kids out there, Well, I got into a lot of fights when my sister started school. She was 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids would pick on her and then go fight at battles, a lot of older kids. And sort of went from there. So that was the first taste at an actual club with Jamal Hassan. A few years down the track, probably about 12, started karate with a guy named Danny. Did about 6 months or so. He got me to enter into a karate tournament. Got to the semi-finals.
Wow.
And it was, so you're not allowed to strike to the head.
Yes, it wasn't, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So you can hit to the body, punch, kick. You'd sort of, if you were to punch to the face, you'd have to sort of pull your punch at the last second.
So you actually could punch to the face? But...
You can, but with no contact.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So I've gone for a punch, actually against a girl in the semi-finals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she made it. She was quite good. I'm 2 points up, had 1 more point to go.
Yeah.
And she's gone into the punch, hit on the nose. Blood went everywhere, and they sort of made me kneel down in the sort of on the line there. And then the referee come and sort of said, you're disqualified. Wow. And I was shattered, So again, left that, didn't want to do it anymore. And then...
You were like, that's it?
Yeah, and I thought at the time, sort of made, if I do it again, it'll be full contact.
Right.
So I left it at that point. At about 16, started with Dana Goodson in Fitzroy Stars.
Legendary Dana Goodson.
Yeah. Was training there for about 6 months or so and started sparring the guys, fighters at the time and future Australian champions and that, and used to get the better of them.
So you used to give them a run for their money?
Yeah.
Wow. At that age as well?
Yeah. So it was always there,
Would you say you had natural talent growing up? If you believe.
I don't know if it was talent or it was more like the drive, or the heart.
Yeah. A lot of heart.
Yeah. So I wasn't scared to fight anyone or so.
Weren't afraid to get hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
Yeah. So I think that was sort of, even though there was skill, but I think that was sort of more what I fall back on,
Interesting. And so do you think that you started up fighting out of, I guess, a love for or at least an interest in that world? Or was it more just because, as you said, you're in the schoolyard, you had to survive?
No, not at all. Yeah, I think I had a love for it from an early age, always at home watching, your classic Bruce Lee movies and the Rocky movies. And yeah, it was sort of brought up on that. They were all always on TV.
Nick Carra said the same thing.
Yeah.
He said that he was watching all the Bruce Lee films.
Yeah, so I think that was the thing back then, And yeah, you get those moments in those Rocky movies, and they're quite inspiring. You think, oh, I would love to do
I'd
that
love
one
to
day.
do that.
You know?
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So how
It's
old
sort
were
of-
you when you had your first proper or amateur intra-club type of fight? You know, your first in the ring?
For amateur, just before I turned 25. So it was about 24, about a month or two before I turned 25. So it started late.
Okay. So so during this period in your late teens and early 20s, did you have a hiatus at all between that?
Yeah,
first
so around the
fight?
16-year-old, when I was 16, so just quickly, my parents sort of split up.
Yep.
So I sort of had to work nights and so on. So I had to leave down at Goodson's at the time.
Okay.
He always used to say, when you're 18, make sure you come back, because he always wanted to fight at the time. And come 18, it was just working nights, so I couldn't get to the classes. So that sort of overtook. And then obviously going out and get into trouble as you do, you know, that sort of took over that phase in life from about 18 to 22, maybe, or 23.
Yeah.
So it was just partying, getting into fights, you know, hang around with the bad crowd. And I think around 23, realised one day that I'm either going to get locked up or going to be dead.
Really?
Yeah. So,
So it was that type of epiphany.
Yeah.
Wow. And did Dana at the time have a big influence on you in terms of
Absolutely.
your mindset?
So I'd bump into him here and there, and he'd always say, come back. Then I did this, I think I was about 23 at the time.
Yes.
When I decided I wanted to come back. And unfortunately, that's when he passed away.
Okay, yeah.
So and again, that sort of set me back, and that's all I knew. So I knew if I ever fought, I was going to fight under him.
Right.
Anyway, going down when I was 24, still thinking about, you know, if I don't do it now, I never will.
Yeah.
And I was out clubbing, drunk and whatever the rest of it. And there was a guy from down at Goodson's came up to me and said to me, he goes, all I hear is Faisal's a great street fighter. And
he recognized you?
Yeah, like he knew, like the sort of reputation was sort of out there, you know, like again, being out and, you know, always sticking up for my mates. That's all it was, you know, like if one of my mates get picked on, I'll jump in for him. And it was always one of those like blind loyalty to your mates.
Yes.
So anyway, he said to me, you know, that's all I hear. But you know what I remember? I remember the guy that used to fucking belt everyone at down at Goodson's, you know? And I'm like, he goes, mate, how good would it be if, you know, one day someone said to you, you're fucking Australian champion or world champion.
Oh, and that lit a fire.
And yeah, but it was already there. Like that's all I'd been thinking about for about a good year then. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So anyway, long story short, got back into the gym the next day. I was training weights at Doherty's gym in Brunswick.
Yes.
Went in, was hitting in the bag, and some guy in the back came along and goes, fuck, you know, you're pretty good at what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Do you fight or anything? I said, no, I want to though, you know? And he goes, who's your trainer? I said, no one, I'm just training myself, you know?
It's like a movie. Some guy spots you on the bag.
Yeah. And he goes, go see this guy, Bryce Birtwhistle in Marvel Martial Arts. He goes, if he sees what I just saw now, I reckon he'll take you on, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, cool, that'd be good. So went to Bryce, and Bryce at the time, again, let me see what you can do on the bag and so on. Got me sparring a couple of the boys, you know. Or you can see this wild guy just, you know, didn't know how to defend a jab or nothing, but I was chasing everyone, you know.
Yeah.
Like had that Street Fighter mentality, trying to rip everyone's head off with one punch, you know.
Yes.
But,
like a dog.
Yeah, pretty much.
Forward. Yeah, nice.
And I think it was about a week later, he said, you want to fight? He goes, would you fight next week? You know?
Hold on, wait, a week later after you just joined the gym? He said, you want to fight?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's pretty good. That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. But, so anyway, I was there. I wanted to kickbox. But he goes, oh, there's an amateur boxing fight. Would you fight next week? And said, yeah, fuck, you know, again, going back to Sri, the fitness is not there. Defense is not there.
Right.
You know, I had a lot of work. But
the heart was there.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to what I was saying, I think that sort of outlaid my skill, you know?
Yes.
So anyway, from there, went to the fight, got there early because I was super nervous.
Yeah.
Saw this guy with glasses, forearms like Popeye, standing there like this.
Oh, no.
And I've approached him, and we just started speaking. And I go, you fighting today? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm fighting a guy from Marvel Martial Arts. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's my gym, you know. But he said another name. So it was like this guy.
So you didn't think it was you?
Michael Harris or something at the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, he's telling me, oh, you know, I fucking belted everyone in Tasmania. And I'm here to do the semi-finals. If I win this fight, I get the state title. I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck. And he goes, how long you been training for? I said, oh, about 2 weeks. I'm going to have first one today. He goes, oh, fuck.
Good luck.
You know, yeah, good luck. And then Bryce walks in and then he goes, oh, that's the guy that my opponent trains. And I said to Bryce, oh, Bryce, who's Mick Harris? You know, that's how long I'd been in the gym. I didn't even know this is one of my teammates.
Yeah.
And Bryce goes, no, Mick Harris is not fighting today. You're taking his spot, you know?
Oh, so
I'm
you're
like,
fight this bloke.
Fuck. So he's already fed my head, you know? I've already lost the bout before I jumped in.
Yeah.
So anyway, lost the fight.
But to be fair, 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I understand. But like, you know, look, but Bryce, even Bryce said to me, he goes, you showed a lot of heart and, you know, like not a lot of people would have done that.
Yeah. Did you have a word with him after? Did you say, listen, you threw me in the deep end?
No. It is what it is. You know, he was a tough man, but, you know, at points like that, I was thinking, fuck, he did the wrong thing by me, but he didn't, you know, like he now I look back at it, I think, fuck, he made me the person I am, you know?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, because he did. Like, and then my first fight, kickboxing fight, for the guy that had 3 fights, 3 wins, all by knockout, you know? And then again, went and fought this guy. I thought I won, you know, everyone thought I won, but they give it to him on a split points decision.
Okay.
Which wasn't bad, you know?
Was that your first kickboxing fight?
First kickboxing, which is what I intentionally was going to do.
Yes, okay.
And then I'm questioning myself, thinking, fuck, maybe this is not for me, you know?
Yeah.
They had 2 fights, 2 losses.
But over the span of how long? How long within
So I had gone to the gym in, I think it was October.
Yep.
Had the fight 2 weeks later. This was in March.
So it's 2 fights, but it's in quick succession.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So the next fight was February, March. Next one was in June.
Wow.
Preparing for this one, feeling good, everything is gone great, you know?
Yeah.
2 days before they give us a call, your opponent's pulled out, but we've got another guy, his opponent pulled out, but he only fight Thai boxing.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck it, you know, no one showed me how to grapple or knee or anything like that. So anyway, like I say, he's actually a well-known trainer at the moment, O'Neill Ortega. So
I know of O'Neill.
Yeah, there you go.
A friend of mine actually trains at his gym.
Yeah, there you go. So he's very good at what he does. So anyway, got in the ring and just trying to keep him away with my punches because every time he'd lock on, I'm like, I didn't know what to do. But just trying to wrestle him around and so on. And anyway, got the win on that.
So you beat O'Neill?
Yeah. So it was, I'm like, yes, all right.
And you had essentially 24 hours beforehand to learn some clinches and stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But like I said, I didn't know how to use it. So every time he would come in punching range, I'd throw a punch or kick or something.
Okay. So you still kept to your game plan for the most part. Oh, fascinating. Yeah. Okay.
On that night, there was another guy that stood out, Pele Manivong, and all my mates after the fight, they were like, fuck, did you see that guy Pele? He knocked the guy out with a head kick. It was fucking unreal.
Oh, talking about it.
Yeah, and then I get to the gym a couple of weeks later, or a month later, whatever it was, and Bryce goes, hey, you're fighting for a Victorian title. I'm like, oh, awesome. Who are we fighting? Pele Manivong. I'm like, oh, fuck. But like I said, like that's why, you know, credit to Bryce. You know, he
pushed
made me,
you.
you know, like I was fucking, you know, those few fights I was always so nervous. It's like after Victorian title, it was like I didn't give a shit who they put in front of me anymore. You know, like he made me believe.
He just kept throwing you in.
Yeah, so
it's fascinating when you think about it. It's because like you weren't fighting essentially properly until 25. You were just hitting the bag and then
that's right.
You're in this Victorian title spot. You're like just almost immediately, right? Because you just kept getting thrown in there.
Much.
So it comes with obviously its downsides in the sense that you're inexperienced, but it comes with such great positives as well, mentally in particular.
Exactly, yeah. I think I knew I was strong here and here, you know. So the rest,
and he must have known that.
Yeah, so 100%. And so the rest came, you know. But so I won that Victorian title fight. I think the only person who thought I was going to win was me.
Great. Self-belief.
Everyone else was like, fuck, you know, like, yeah, good luck. Like everyone was sort of patting me on the back.
Surely
like,
they were talking about you like they were talking about Pele then at that point, right? Like,
yeah, not afterwards.
Afterwards. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, and it was all of a sudden, I won that Victorian title fight, and all of a sudden, fucking everyone knew who I was. Like, you know,
great.
Yeah, it was cool. You
no
know?
longer the street fighter, but also the real
fighter.
fighter.
Yeah. And they're like, so yeah, that was pretty cool. And then again, August, so at this point, it hadn't even been 1 year in the gym yet, so 10 months.
3 fights in 1 year.
10 months,
fights.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the Victorian title.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, and then we were sort of on a roll after that, won another 4 or 5. But yeah, so that's sort of kickboxing journey. Then on my 6th fight, got offered to fight for the Australian title.
On your 6th fight, and was this a year after or a couple of years after?
Yeah, so that was 03, so 05.
05.
In 2000, April 2005.
You were around 26.
Yeah,
26.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had this I guess long span of victories, right?
Yeah.
Quite suddenly as well.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to take it up a step as well, and to I guess broaden your horizons in the fight game as well. Was the mentality always the same
always
up until
the
this
same,
point?
Yeah.
Just the same.
Yeah.
And were you just sort of grafting more of, or sort of refining your technique? Is that what?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. I was learning as I go.
Yeah. Wow. In the ring, it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, like it was like things like, you know, and yeah, just every fight, like sort of try something new, you know, or I sort of watch my fights. Obviously, you know, with trainer Bryce and at that point Nick Carra took over my training around the Australian title fight.
Oh, okay.
But they were always in the same gym, so I was sort of training with both of them. But then eventually sort of started training with Nick. Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating as well, and it's okay if we jump around a little bit because it's just the fact that Nick is now obviously training here with you at Fight Fit, you know, involved in Fight Fit together. Again, it's like this. I've said this to Tony Takazi as well. It's like a full circle moment.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
You continued on this relationship.
Like me and Nick become best friends. We're like brothers, you know.
Oh, that's
so. You know, we train fighters together now, and we're always in the corners with every fighter.
Yes.
Whether it's his or mine. So
fantastic. Yeah. So he was in your corner for this fight
for the Australian title.
Yep, yeah. How did that go?
Yeah, good. Got my first knockout, second round. So fought a guy from Tasmania, so I sort of had a score to settle with Tasmania.
Yeah, great. That's it.
A guy that had 27 fights. I think he had, I think it was like 15 losses or 12 wins.
27 fights, 15 losses.
Yeah, but he had fought a lot of, you know, like some of the best in the country. So I was lucky enough to catch him with the left hook on the second round, knocked him out.
Yes.
Couldn't get up. And again, just, you know, feeling fucking top of the world.
Top of the world, yeah.
Compared to that my third fight with the knees, thinking, fuck, if I lose this, I'm done, you know? So it's a like, quick turnaround. So
what was that high like? How long did it last as well?
Oh, I could never sleep after the fights.
Really?
Yeah. So I couldn't sleep.
At all?
No, at all.
What do you mean?
So that night, I couldn't sleep. I would sleep the day after. So like, it was a Friday night I fight.
Yeah.
Friday night, no sleep. I just
just
on the too high. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then I'd sleep the night after, you know.
Oh, brilliant. I remember when I spoke to Nick as well, he said something similar when he came back from overseas and they're like, you know, you just beat the world champion, and he kind of like, it didn't set in and he wasn't sleeping, he was just full of this energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and how long did that last in the sense of like leading up to your next fight after that? Was it just...
Yeah, so from there, 2000, so it was 2006, 2000, had a couple of amateur boxing fights then.
Right, yep.
Fought a couple of the favourites that were supposed to win the whole comp, but they threw me in there.
Again?
Yeah, so I had one fight, lost that on a close decision. So that was, again, another loss that I hadn't had for a while, so a few years.
Yep.
But again, we sort of jumped in the ring thinking, oh yeah, it's my first week back at training. Let's just go to the amateur boxing just to get some ring rust out.
Yes.
But ended up fighting a pretty tough dude, Luke Caruano. Lost on points. And then we get a call few weeks later said, "Oh, do you want to fight for the state title?" It's
this time in boxing.
In boxing, yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, at that point I'd injured my leg or something. So anyway, I was sort of laying off the legs at the
Okay.
Or maybe had a really bad cork actually.
Oh right. So you're saying basically you've done all that you could to an extent in
just needed to rest the legs for a few months.
So you pivoted into boxing.
To boxing, yeah.
And then you get offered this Victorian.
Victorian title. So I fought the favourite in the semi-final. It was a guy named Pat Rullo. So I sort of went over, ended up doing a lot of good things. Beat him on points, and then 2 weeks later I fought the other guy that made the finals was Luke Woodham. So I had a whole heap of fights. I think he was a lot younger than me though, but about 17 or 18. But still fought as an adult. Yes. But stopped him in the second round. Got the state title there with the boxing, and then went back to kickboxing.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
So you've it seems like, as far as I'm listening now, is that you've gone from strength to strength in many ways. Obviously, you've copped injuries in the meantime, but it does seem like you were continuing to progress, even in terms of the results. Like you just keep getting victories.
No, that's right, exactly. And it was just getting better and better with each fight.
Now, let me ask you this, and obviously some fighters don't necessarily like talking about this, but at what point do you feel that, was there ever a dip in the quality, even in your fighting, or at least even in terms of the results? Was there ever a point in your career where things weren't going as well and you had to
I think it was more at the beginning,
Oh, at the beginning. Yeah. So it was just really just an upward trajectory. Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
And it was only because of the circumstances,
of course.
Not training for,
Of course.
It's funny because now, people come to me and want to fight, and I'm like, it's like I think about what I went through, and then I don't let them fight for at least another year later,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with first timers.
Of course, but now back in the day,
I feel like I need to protect these guys, Now
you've told me before in the past as well about you having tournaments or bouts where you would fight a guy at one part in the night, and then if you win, you get.
Oh yeah, so that was so I got back to kickboxing.
Yes.
At that point, I think, or maybe just before the amateur boxing, I lost to a guy, and that's when I cooked my leg actually.
Okay.
A guy named Nick Themalakis.
Yes.
So again, my second loss in kickboxing out of, I think it was 8 fights or whatever.
Yeah.
From there, fought so after the couple of amateur boxing fights, fought in a 4-man eliminator.
A 4-man eliminator?
Yeah.
Tell us what that actually entails.
So basically there's 2 fights to start off with, and the winner of each fight each other at the end,
Okay.
So that's a smaller version. Usually they do an 8-man eliminator as well, so which you end up fighting three
And do these tournaments still exist now? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fought in this tournament, won the first fight, second round knockout again.
Yep.
Like round 2 is always
that's your lucky number. Yeah,
lucky number with the knockouts. At one point while I was lunging, trying to chase this guy because he kept on running away, I had a sort of little niggle in my hamstring, so it completely went. So I got a full tear.
Oh wow!
In my hamstring. So anyway,
during the fight.
Yeah, but just before I sort of knocked the guy out. So
okay, just finish it. Right.
Yeah, but during the fight, but I was lucky that I got to finish it. So Nick got some, I don't know what it's called, like a cortisone or?
Yeah, the spray.
No, actual injection.
Oh, an injection?
Yeah.
To
numb it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he got it off the doctor.
I thing you were saying like the AFL sprays.
No, it was a full-on injection. Okay. So we're in the back toilets or whatever it was, and he's injected my hamstring and couldn't feel anything. So anyway, fought in the final against a guy named Andrew Colgrave, really good fight at the time, well established. Anyway, he caught me with the right hand. Credit to him, I always say it's from him, but I felt like my leg just wouldn't keep me up. Whether that was from the punch or from the leg.
What do you think now? Looking back?
I don't know. Again, it's hard to say, but I've copped heaps bigger punches than that, and they haven't fazed me,
Yeah.
But anyway, got back up and just couldn't be steady on my leg, so the referee waved it off. Anyway, going from that, my legs were no good, and so I should have mentioned too, through all my kickboxing fights, always favour my hands anyway.
Right.
So I think it was getting to the point where I was starting to enjoy the boxing more.
You felt more comfortable with
Yeah,
using
I would
your
throw the
hands.
occasional kick, and then I always get injured in my legs, getting corked in the fights.
Yes.
And then now tearing my hamstring. So I said to Nick, I want to go boxing, but I can't leave kickboxing like that. I need to have one more fight.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so we got offered a fight against a guy named Tim Haitley from the Western Suburbs, who was at the time already pro boxer, had about 2-3 boxing fights, I think, and had about a dozen kickboxing. So they offered us the WKA Australian title over 8 rounds.
Oof.
Yeah, so it was like
tough one.
Really tough one.
Yeah.
So got to that fight. As soon as the bell went, this guy freaking ran at me and just went nuts, hell for leather. So we're both in the mix of it. And I'm thinking back in mind, either this guy's really fit or really stupid,
Yeah.
Turned out he was really fit.
Oh, okay. Unlucky for you.
Yeah. But so it went toe to toe for 8 rounds.
A war.
Yeah, absolute war. Ended up a draw.
Wow.
I had people come up to us after the fight saying it's the best fight they've ever seen in their life. And it's like,
whoa, that's a huge statement.
Yeah, and even like people like Mark Cassanides, who was announcing it,
Yes.
was doing the commentary, also said it was one of the best fights that he's seen in those
Comms. That's
down in the Western Suburbs and that. So,
that's outstanding.
yeah,
And was it
people
just
were still just talking about it all the time,
you're saying that he was coming at you and you were just like, oh, I don't know if this guy was just like
Yeah, but I just had to go with him,
Yeah, so did you just meet him where he was?
Yeah, and I was working against the ropes because again, I've never done more than, so I did 3 rounds heaps of times. I did 5 rounds once.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this is 8 rounds, and I'm thinking I should reserve myself. So I'm working off the ropes until about the 5th or 6th round, then realise, fuck, I'm fit enough to push forward.
To keep going, exactly.
Yeah, so I started pushing forward, but he got him with a lot of clean shots at that point. But again, and the result was so fair, like he couldn't have given it to one person than the other.
Of course, right. You're saying that it was the right judgment call for
Oh,
such a war.
I think so. I don't. Even a lot of people said, "Oh, but you did more kicking. You should have won." I don't say it like that. I think it was a very close fight.
And would you say that is probably one of at least the most memorable fights you've ever?
Yeah, I think that and the Victorian title fight again.
Yeah.
Just going back to that Victorian title fight, just because. Again, everyone's like, even my trainer goes, you're fighting for a Victorian title.
And you come
It
back.
doesn't matter, but it was to actually win it. It was, that was a good feeling.
And you thought you were the only one that was going to win.
That's right.
That's fascinating. Okay, so I'm interested to know sort of your mentality throughout all this. As you said, you've got a big heart, and you're coming out there. You had that fighter's mentality from a young age. What were you like, for example, just before a fight? I asked Ashton Takazio actually a similar question. What were you doing just before the fight?
Yeah,
so you get there early.
And nervous, being nervous as at home.
How nervous are we talking?
Like pretty nervous. But I don't know. It's hard to compare, but just nervous about nothing though. But just at home, But then, as soon as I get to the arena, it's like bang. I'm like switch on, And then a lot of people used to say, mate, that's weird. We're relaxed at home, but we get nervous when we get to the arena.
You're the opposite.
Yeah, I just felt like as soon as I got to the arena, I soak it all in. I'm like, I'm here to do a job, and that's it. I can turn into that person that wants to, fight. And I don't care if I die in there. That's sort of, So
that was your mentality.
Yeah.
What about after like a fight like that war that you've just emptied the tank completely? Are you still not sleeping after those fights?
No, always. There wasn't one fight I could sleep over.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Are you replaying it in your head?
No. I think it's just my adrenaline. It's like through the roof. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, it's like the biggest high. I explain it to people. It's the only time. Nothing's like fighting. This. When you feel all your emotions,
Yeah, you're just filled to the brim. Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, you've had this absolute war. You've called it one of the most memorable fights in your career. What were the next stages after that? How old were you, by the way, during this time?
So I reckon that kickboxing fight, I was 29 years old.
29.
Yeah.
Okay. And
how many 29 about
fights?
a week.
Oh, okay.
About a week or so after.
Yep. And how many fights after that did you engage in?
So that's when I turned pro boxing. So I had another 8 pro boxing fights. Won the first fight. My second fight was against the guy I mentioned before. I lost my second kickboxing fight too, Nick Themalakis. I was undefeated kickboxer at the time, 17 fights, but he decided to go pro boxing as well. And again, just trained like fucking nothing
Crazy.
ever before, you know.
Yeah.
Even my, it was my 30th during the training camp.
Okay.
Yeah, so the fight was in December. My birthday's in November.
No big birthday?
I had a big party.
Oh, you
I was
did?
the only one drinking water all night, you know.
Wow.
But like that's how I wanted this fight so bad. You know?
Yeah. You want it to be that locked in. throughout
Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
period.
Had that fight, won. So again, a total war. This guy was like tough as. Like, he gave me one of my hardest kickboxing fights, and again one of my hardest boxing fights. You know,
Just kept going.
Yeah. So won that second fight. So now 2-0 in the pros. Find out that my girlfriend at the time, Renee, who's now my wife, was pregnant. So then things start to change, you know. Then
Beautiful. Yeah.
next year, 2008, in April, organising to get married. We got married in Thailand with my wife. Come back in May, I think it was.
Yes.
Had a boxing fight against an international opponent from Thailand. Won that as well. That was the last fight with Nick. So Nick at that time had decided he wants to pack up and he wants to go move to Thailand. Yeah. So so that was 3-0 with Nick. At that point, we were going to Paul Fifield's all the time to spar
at the house.
Yeah, and he would always make me feel so welcome. You know, he goes, no, you're not just here to spar. You come train with the boys and so on. So we'll do the whole session. You know, and at the end we'd spar and made me feel really welcome. So once Nick decided to leave, you know, the decision was easy. So and I asked Paul. I saw him at a show and I said, "Oh, Paul, Nick's leaving in a couple of months. Do you mind if I come train with you guys?" You know, he goes, "Mate, you're already part of the team." You know, like,
that's beautiful.
Paul's the best, mate.
Extremely welcoming.
Exactly. Yeah. So it really made me feel welcome from the beginning, and I've learned a lot off him. You know, through the boxing, but not just the boxing part. Just not just as a person. You know, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that from.
I get a lot of respect for him, and he's probably only person other than my dad I look up to, I reckon. You know?
Oh, that's a huge thing to say. No, I've heard that from so many people. It's outstanding how much of an impact he has.
Yeah, he does. You know, just with even just the little things he says sometimes, you know, and just those little chats, you know, they have an impact. You know,
it's
like
a big deal.
Yeah,
absolutely. So okay, so you find out your girlfriend at the time is pregnant.
Yep.
Your now wife, who and I guess back to that mentality type thing. Was there ever a shift with you? I'm not trying to assume it because I know that other fighters might say differently, but was there ever a shift where you go from, you know, I want to die in the ring to like, oh, actually, no, I can't do that. I have a child.
We spoke about this. And 100%. Yeah. Because I would always try to, let's say, after my daughter Olivia was born so I had that one fight, 2008.
Yes.
So that's when everything slowed down. Obviously, that first year, getting married, my daughter was born. You know, I got to say, like, you know, biggest achievement of my life. You know, no, nothing compares to my first daughter or all my three kids anyway. So she was born. After she was born, so I had a fight in 2009 under Paul. Won that, but I remember leading up to it, I was in the back change room. And I'm like, you know, you sort of like, you know, whack myself a bit to try and pump myself up. And then I'm like, you know, and I'm thinking, you know, same thing, you know, I'm going to go to war, you know, don't care if you die, you know, push everything on the line. And I'm like arguing with myself in my head, I don't want to die. Who's going to look after my little girl if they happen? Not that that's going to happen, but you know, but
I know what you mean.
But again, I've always had this sort of thought process.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's changed, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, it's not about me anymore. It's about my family, my wife, my kids.
So how did you motivate yourself then in those moments? When
I would still be able to, like, and I found around those times when I couldn't motivate myself, as soon as I get in the ring and I cop a punch or something, it would change, you know?
Really?
Yeah. But sometimes it wasn't like I was taking my time. Well, I hadn't really psyched myself up beforehand.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. Life was different for me, you know?
Yeah.
It was like content with what was happening at home. And
you hear that from Tyson. Sorry, just to interrupt there, but I've heard Tyson say something similar. That like this switch happens where you just you don't have that same fire necessarily for that sport anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
but you have to try and build it up, or you have to find other sources of motivation.
Yeah.
So okay, so but you're still fighting regardless.
Yeah, probably once a year, once every 13, 14 months.
When was your last fight, your last official fight?
November 2011.
Okay.
Against a world ranked now, Michael Zarafa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how did that go?
Went 8 rounds. Pretty much 90% of the people at the arena and thought I'd won.
Yes.
I thought I'd won too. I remember speaking to him before they said decision, trying to say, "Oh, mate, you're still young. You got plenty of time to become."
You were telling him this.
Yeah, that's how I felt. But you know, and he didn't say anything, but you know, at the time. But yeah. But again, it wasn't in his hands. You know, like he gave me a hell of a fight. He was only 19 years old. Like, and he gave me one of my hardest fights. So yeah. So you know, and he was always going to be a future champion. Yeah. So that, but again, at the time, you're thinking, I've done more than enough to win. You know, they said the decision, and I remember I remember when they said the decision, like, I'm not a sore loser, but like, I've lost before, but I remember just everything went quiet, and I just couldn't believe it.
You were shocked.
Yeah.
Did you know it was your last fight coming into it?
So the plan was, that was for Victorian Pro title.
Yes. I
said if I had made the decision, I was going to give up, because I was, like I said, I'd rather be at home with my kids than be at training every night. There were nights where I'd come home from training, they're already asleep, and I used to crack it like this. I was like, fuck, you know, I didn't get to see him today, so I knew my priorities changed, you know. So at the time, if I had won the Victorian title fight, I was planning to challenge the Australian champion, whoever that was, and have a crack at that. And I thought if I could do, you know, both kickboxing, boxing, amateur boxing, and be able to get titles in every
covered all bases.
Yeah.
So how many titles?
I was content with that. So I was, like I said, I was planning to, after that fight, there might have been 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
So in 2012, there was a fight lined up for me on a show, Kings of Combat, and the guy just became a no-show. So the guys were the matchmaker was trying to call him and so on. I'm not sure. Not sure what even happened with, but
on the day of the fight, did you find out? Or?
It was about a week or 2 before. No one could get in contact with him. So yeah,
okay.
Like he's all right now. He's around, but I forget what the story was behind it.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, and at the time, like I said, I just realised that it's done. You know.
So looking back, how many, if we could number them, I guess, how many titles have you actually won?
No, so just the Victorian, Australian kickboxing titles.
Victorian and Australian kickboxing titles, yeah.
And a Victorian amateur boxing title.
That's significant.
Yeah.
That's still like...
For someone that wanted to have 1 or 2 fights just to see how it goes.
And started relatively late in comparison to other fighters who now are being, starting at 16, 15, maybe even younger sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's still quite outstanding, right?
And Nick would tell you, there was a couple of fights in my corner, and he would be nervous as fuck, and I'm like, don't worry, mate, I'm gonna fucking bash it.
You're gonna kill him.
He's like, all right, you made me feel confident, you know.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
Well, so it didn't matter who was there. No, I like to think of my career, I always fought like some of the best in the country. Like I never wanted those easy fights.
Yeah, you never. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something also that I mentioned with Tony, is that, you know, there's this cliche now with fighters.
They're just trying to build their records.
They've tried to build records, but back in the day, it seems like you guys just were, let's fight everyone. Yeah. Let's have fun. Who cares?
So with my first loss with pro boxing, I remember the promoter called me. He goes, you haven't fought for 14 months. You know, we'll give you one just to sort of get back into it. There's this guy, or there's this other guy that he fought in the Olympics and Commonwealth Games as a amateur, you know, and now he's pro and he's quite good, but you know, I think if you had a warm-up fight before, you'd be okay. I said, no, I'm taking time away from my family now, you know, so I don't want to fight someone that I can just knock out in 1 round or 2. Yeah. So I'd rather fight that guy. If I'm going to take time away, I want to make sure. Exactly, it's worth it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you had gotten to that point in your career where you can say that, you know, you weren't on the up just trying to fight everyone. You were like, I can be selective. I have priorities now.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Outside of fighting. So a couple of questions. Number one is, did you ever have the urge to fight overseas when you were fighting? Was that ever on the?
It's not one of the with fighting overseas. It's it's if the opportunity arises, of course, you know.
Okay.
But it never arose for me, so obviously, you know,
Fair.
I think you need to get in that sort of, with the pro boxing anyway, get into over 10, 15 fights or 20 fights to do that, you know. So
absolutely,
I'd be kidding myself if I thought, you know, under 8 fights I could go fight, you know, some of the best in the world.
In the world. Okay.
Yeah, it's not realistic, you know.
I understand. Yeah. I've heard before that certain fighters actually, even from the outset, even if the opportunity did arise, they didn't want to go overseas.
Yeah,
so I was always wondering.
Yeah, I think I might have took it, just knowing the person I am.
Yeah.
But like I said, never arose. You know, I fought in Sydney once. That's about it.
Right,
Most of the fights were all in Victoria.
Understand. And let's talk briefly about your involvement with Fight Fit. So how did that come about, and what sort of led to that? How did you get involved with Fight Fit?
So again, in 2012.
Yep.
You know, it's sort of an empty feeling when you stop fighting because you've been doing it for so long. So it's been about 10, 11 years. That's all I knew, you know. And then a good friend of mine, Ziad Zachariah.
Yes.
You know him?
Of course. Yeah.
And he could see I was a bit down. He's a beautiful person, you know, one of my best mates, like a brother to me. So said, hey, I've got these 2 boys that I train in the garage. They want to fight. I don't have the time. Like, I train them a bit, but would you be interested? You know, it'd be good for you. You know, like that sort of next stage. You know, after you're still involved in the game. I said, yeah, I'll give it a go. And these 2 boys thought they were ready to fight that month or whatever. Again, 1 year later, until I decided they can fight. So I trained them for about a year. Started from there. Started training people in my garage. So I had about 4 bags in my garage at the back of my house. And, you know, I was getting up to 15, 16 people in my garage sometimes. You know?
Wow.
Yeah,
packed out.
Yes, and it was all word of mouth. So a couple of the boys that I trained bring their friends. And at the time, I think I was speaking to Bash, and he said, I think there was one of the girls that was sort of couldn't make the Friday morning class at South Melbourne. And he said, oh, do you mind from time to time if you can cover it? You know, can I rely on you to having it on standby? You know?
Yeah.
And so covered the classes there. Everyone loved it. He was getting good feedback, and sort of snowballed from there.
Went from there. Oh, okay. So but it originally was an operation outside of your
garage,
your own garage gym. That's fantastic. And then, okay, so you've integrated yourself with Bash and sort of the Fight Fit crew. Soon after, was it where you started taking on the role of being a massive player in the challenge game? In the
so that was about what 3 years ago.
Yes.
So Paul decided to retire, and they were trying to find someone to fill his shoes. Well, no one can fill his shoes, but
yes.
You know, because you think about it like that, it's like, nah, fuck, you know. But I'll try to do the best job of me, you know, and presenting the Fight Fit challenge. So Bash asked me if I'd be interested in doing it, and so I think with these little hurdles, I always sort of like, well, I'm not sure if I can do it, or you know, like, and always sort of consult with my wife. You know?
Yes.
And she's always been my biggest supporter, you know, from the beginning, you know, because she always, you know, when I'm sort of in doubt of, you know, maybe I'll start teaching classes or this and that. She's like, yeah, you could do it. Why couldn't you do it? Just give it a go, you know?
Yeah.
So,
that's what you want.
So she's been, awesome. So
that's beautiful.
But anyway, so I took the role, and I guess the rest of the series done 4 already.
4 challenges.
4 challenges. This will be my 5th one.
What's that experience been like?
Unreal. I think it's a lot more rewarding than teaching your normal class. So
really,
because I know everyone's there. It's hard. So with a normal class that we do, 45 minutes. Some people are there for the fitness aspect. Some people are there for the skill. Yeah. And so on. So you sort of have to combine everything in one to make sure everyone's happy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But with the challenge, I know everyone's there to learn how to fight.
And they're here to fight.
Exactly. You know, and I think I get more enjoyment out of that and seeing people's progression.
Yeah. That's so true.
Especially with being a trainer with fighters. I love seeing that. So, and I think, but we'll come to the conclusion that the matchmaking has been really good. So even Bash has sort of said, mate, the way you matchmake is unbelievable. Perfect. You know, it's perfect. You know,
it's a big deal as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I sort of try to see things that other people don't when I'm looking at people in the class and so on, just the little things. And so far, touch wood, you know, it's been
going
working.
well.
So
That's
yeah.
great. That's great. Well, we've mentioned this many times that the challenge is obviously it's a great opportunity for people not only to push themselves mentally, but physically, but also mentally.
Yeah.
It just offers sort of like this massive obstacle in someone's life that if they get over and they actually overcome it and they push through, it's just the most rewarding thing ever. I mean, I've seen all the challenges, and it's just been the look on people's faces after they've conquered this beast. You know, is so it's so inspiring. So I guess it's that, again, a similar full circle moment where you get inspired by all the Rocky stuff growing up and the Bruce Lee, and then you see these people literally throwing themselves in there and coming out with a win or a loss. It doesn't matter.
Exactly
it's just the whole process. So
that's right.
That's fantastic. Now, also, just lastly, before we finish up here, what's on the horizon for you, both in terms of a fight fit and also
so fight fit, got a few fighters at the moment. Obviously got Ziyad's son, Zain Zakaria. So that kid's sort of like my pride and joy because I've taught him from the beginning. He's now five wins, 1 loss. Avenged a loss that he to the same opponent last one. Got the rematch and won, so which was good. Got a young kid, Adam Spall, who's having his 5th pro boxing fight in a couple of weeks in Sydney. And other than that, obviously we've got help with Sam here, Sam Howe, Jordan Parr, and all these. So we've got a lot of good fighters. We've got other boys in at Collingwood, Salim Mahazi, got Joseph Cairuz. So yeah, it's been good. So at the moment, just enjoying, being able to pass something on to these boys that rely on me, I guess. And
absolutely, they've got big futures ahead of them. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Faisal, for coming here. Thank you very much for your wisdom and just for sort of going through your life story. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. See you next time.